Table joins are one of the most important things you will encounter in your database career. So let's start and go ahead and describe. So you're already in your bank in MariaDB. You know how to do that. Go ahead and let's describe accounts. So what we're going to do now, let's describe what was customer. Okay, we've got them both here. Now, each customer has an account. So we have the first name, last name, postal code, address, and all that in our customer table, and we have their balance and their bank account information in the account table. But how do we connect them? How do we get everything? How do we find out the customer's name and their balance in one result set? We have to what we call join these tables. First one is called the inner join, and what the inner join does, it selects data from both tables based on a join condition. And what's that join condition? It's finding a common row that it can be joined with. Like so something like if you have you want to meet someone and you don't know that person, but there's a mutual friend between you two. So that person is the join condition. That's kind of a simple explanation. Best thing to do is just go ahead and get on with it and show you. Okay, here is the account. Now I have to explain this first before we can run it, and then I'll explain it again because it is confusing to a lot of people. So we have our select statement. We're going to find our last name and our first name. Now our last name and the first name come from our customer table. And we have our, we can't do that. We can't use the customer ID because there's two of them. So let's take that out. And there you go. So let's do this again, and I'll explain what all this null stuff is later. So what we're going to do is we just joined two tables here. We actually did join the customer and the accounts table. Of course, there's as you remember, there's no customer name yet. We have to put the customer's name in here, and we'll do that later in maybe the next video with the insert statement. But just pretend we have last name and first names here now, and we do have each of their customers' balance. So we select the first name, we select the last name and the first name and the pending balance from the customer table and the account table. So why do we have a C here? Well, we have to distinguish between the two tables. This is what we call the alias that we did before. It's an alias of the table alias. So we're actually calling the customer table C, and we're calling the account table A. Why? Because it has to know the difference between the two tables. Why does it have to know the difference? Because we have two columns. We have a column in each table that are exactly the same, which is our customer ID table. And if we don't put the C and the A and the alias in there, it won't know which customer ID column we're talking about. And this customer ID column is our mutual friend that I was talking about. So and here's our mutual friend over here, customer ID and customer A. Now when we're doing this on clause, it changes a little bit. The C comes in front and there's a period. It's the alias name, period, and then the field, the customer ID column field. And also here, see, we have the customer, we have the alias A, and then we have the customer ID field here. Now these customer ID fields are matching. So every customer ID in our customer table is the same ID in our account table, which means we're going to match our customer balance right here to our first name in our accounts table. You kind of gotta look at this a few times, and because it is confusing. The confusing part is the C part, where to put the C, and trying to remember the keywords on and from and inner join. So we hit this and we get our result set. So this is the results of two tables right here. Our C table and our A table. Remember, when we do this, we're no longer calling it a customer table. We're calling it the C table and the account table, because we have to distinguish these two, customer ID, in each table, because they're the same name. Okay, just like, you know, in real life, if someone has the same name as you, which one is he? Is he the one that lives in Baltimore, or is it the person who lives in Boston that has the same name as you? So this is how we distinguish these two fields and these two tables. Now it gets a little confusing because you can join more than two tables, and then we have three table join, and then we have inner join, which this joins everything. Even in, as you can see, it joins nulls. So okay, next video, let's go ahead and insert some first names and last names into our table, so it won't get so confusing and we can do a little more work. Okay, thanks for watching.